My name is Robert Christopher Wayne Weathers. I live at 3102 Center Hill Road, Edgar, Mississippi, 38841. I am still under attack by Scientology. So let me explain what Scientology is. There are more than 3 dimensions. This is a fact. There are 12 dimensions in total. We have biology in these extra dimensions. Extra dimensional biology you can't see while you are alive. A whole plethora of other organs and tissues that we utilize to have an afterlife. The human genome produces a 12-dimensional humanoid with a head covering and horns on our head. We are designed to live in outer space. We can fly and have a whole host of other abilities. We are Anunnakis. That is the human bloodline, and that is the human afterlife experience. So Scientology is the practice of removing this extra-dimensional biology from themselves while they are still alive. They use technology and techniques to turn them into upper dimensional vehicles, biologies that can be driven through the upper dimensions. Aliens. And they look alien in appearance. So they create various alien forms, blue bloods, green aliens, grays, whites. They make lizard people using lizard body parts, insectoids or bug people using bug body parts, and worm people using worm body parts. So the act of Scientology is removing a person's extra-dimensional biology, in other words, their soul, and turning it into an alien that can be driven by the user. Remote-controlled aliens. This is Scientology. So there is a group of Scientologists on Earth driving their aliens onto my location, to my home, and they follow me around no matter where I go. They use these aliens to assault me and my family. They have removed extra-dimensional biology down to the quick. I barely have any left. I am on life support. They are doing the same thing to my animals and other family members. So, the events that have happened today, I have been assaulted in the brain tissue multiple times today. One of our heavenly abilities is we can see the inner workings of a biology with help from this technology they use. They can see the brain and central nervous system lighting up. They can see blood flow. They can see organs and tissues functioning. They can even get down to the microscopic level and see cellular activity. And they can even read DNA like a book and manipulate and modify this DNA. So they are using this ability to observe my biology functioning. And they assault me wherever it's lighting up. These are normal people on Earth doing this to me. So there are several reasons why they are doing this. But first I had to explain some of their technology. So they have a whole bunch of technology, different technologies. They have devices that interface with their brain and central nervous system. Some of this technology records sensory perception input. It records sight, smell, taste, touch, hearing. And it allows the users to interact with each other in a digital landscape. They even get an inner voice. It gives them telepathy. And some of this technology artificially stimulates their brain and central nervous system tissue. They run energy through their brain and central nervous system. So this does things like it elevates neurochemicals. It elevates dopamine, norepinephrine, serotonin, and it elevates hormones such as testosterone, growth hormone, and estrogen. It has an extremely narcotic-like effect upon the users. They are high. It feels like a mixture between pain pills and steroids. This is causing psychological illnesses within these people. They are psychotic, delusional, extremely irritable, quick to become violent. They get addicted to things, to doing the same thing over and over again. They are jealous, petty, greedy. Toxic masculinity is rampant among these people, and they are experiencing something akin to roid rage. This is Scientology. So that's reason number one. They have psychological issues because of the narcotic-like effect this technology is having upon them. And I suspect some of them are also abusing substances. Two, their conditioning. So the act of Scientology is literally removing body parts from organisms and putting them together, sewing them together, and creating an alien form. This is what they are conditioned to do, is to cut body parts off. They do this for a living. They are addicted to it. And then there's their surrogate making. So, well, first off, they need transplants from human beings. In order to complete their alien forms, they need transplants from other humans and other species, such as reptiles, insects, and worms. So they steal body parts from people. To them, we are nothing but bags of body parts they take from the public at will. There is a large demand for human body parts. So next is their criminal behavior. Ever since like the 70s and 80s, Scientology has been trying to take over the planet. They use this technology on people of interest, government agents, the FBI, the CIA, the military, politicians, business owners, marketing companies, social media, tech companies. Either they use this technology on you, even the public. Either they use this technology on you to invade your privacy. This hive mind technology gives them the ability to read people's thoughts, to invade your privacy, to see what you see, to hear what you hear. And they use this information to further their agendas, to get out of trouble, to keep everyone in the dark, to ensure that things go their way. And if they're not spying on you, they may turn you into a surrogate. So if you have a job position or some kind of ability they desire to control, they may turn you into a surrogate and do it themselves. This technology gives them the ability to drive other organisms that are not their own. They can drive humans, animals, insects, and worms in any dimension, even the third dimension. And then there's their surrogate making. So they can drive other organisms that are not their own in any dimension. They like to take the biologies from human beings and other species and turn them into surrogates, biologies that can be driven. So in other words, another alien to add to their collection. There is an extreme demand for this among Scientology. They make surrogates for other Scientologists. And the main reason the demand for this has gotten so high is these aliens grow to large scale. They grow into giants compared to third dimensional humans. Whenever they go into outer space and they do things to themselves to achieve a different rate of expansion than we do in the third dimension, they grow very large compared to us. They get the size of planets, solar systems, galaxies, even the size of the universe. So now they need surrogates. They need little Barbie dolls so they can drive around and do their bidding. There are companies called UMAS, Preservision, and the Lizard Company that are responsible for Scientology on Earth. They are responsible for creating the aliens, for creating surrogates for other Scientologists. They are responsible for selling body parts, stealing body parts. And these companies are criminal. They torture people, rape, murder, traffic humans, experiment on humans. And because of these issues that I had just mentioned, they are psychologically compromised. They're doing this to everybody. They let very few people experience the upper levels of Scientology. So they let very few people have big aliens. They let very few people experience what everything that Scientology has to offer, which includes seeing the future. Which gets to my next point. Time is simultaneous. It is not just a linear event, it is also a simultaneous event. So there is a place in the universe where the past, the present, and the future all happen at the same time. And these aliens can go to this location and then interact with the universe in a way that time is simultaneous. So at this very moment, I'm being born. At this very moment, I'm being assimilated. At this very moment, the Anunnakis of ancient times are being created. They are giving ancient humans technology to allow them to see into the afterlife, to see the aliens. Christianity is being born by Scientology. So Scientology created Christianity to try to cover up what they're doing to me. Christianity was created over me because they're going to try to torture me to death. And I have intellectual property that saves the planet. I've been trying to save the planet my entire life, to help people, to save humanity and all life on this planet. Ancient humans started hearing voices and seeing giants in the sky, telling them to worship some Christ that is going to get martyred. And Christianity destroys the planet. They conquer all the peoples, force their religion upon everybody, create plutocracies and autocracies, king and queenism. They give people the divine authority to rule over others. They don't help their neighbors. It has created competition among people. So this is what Scientology is doing to humanity. Everybody has gear now. The public, the military, the government. Everybody has technology implanted in their brains. It is extra-dimensional tech. Scientology is trying to take over the planet. So my experience with Scientology, what they are doing to me. Well, first let me explain one more issue. There's this entanglement property of the universe. Third dimensional particles and extra dimensional particles are entangled. What happens is, and what appears from my observation, is the third dimensional particle and the 12th dimensional particle are the same particles. It is the same particle. We are made of 12 dimensional particles. And the electron shell travels around the entire particle. And it travels in a circle no matter what. You cannot warp or distort this particle that we are created from. However, they try. So they remove extra dimensional biology from us, from themselves, and they take it to a remote location. Either they create an alien from it, a surrogate from it, and they also have facilities that house biology on Earth. So as the body part is being removed from you, as it leaves you, space-time in between you and this removed body part shrinks to zero as it's leaving you. because you can't remove energy from the particles. They use this phenomenon in part of their technology practices. So they have facilities on Earth that house body parts. They like to take brain tissue and put it into a storage system in these facilities and then interface this brain tissue to a computer system. This allows them to create a hive mind so they can communicate with each other. It allows them to interact with each other in a digital landscape. And it also allows them to have a command center so they can control the rest of their alien forms. So they can take extra dimensional biology to this remote location and interface it to the computer system. And the third dimensional human, the third dimensional biology will experience it. It will gain access to this technology from a remote location. So now I can explain my run-in with Scientology, what Scientology has done to me. So I have been a political activist on social media. I participate in politics a lot, have debates about politicians and political interest and laws, lawmaking, and wars and political agendas. And I'm also an author. I write literature a lot. I am highly intelligent, and I wrote a lot on social media. I gained a lot of attention, a lot of followers. Some Scientologists in the marketing companies through social media stole body parts and implanted technology in my brain. This allowed them to invade my privacy, to read my mind. These people started communicating with me using these platforms through social media and other platforms, and it was apparent that they could see into my environment. I told them to get away from me, to leave me alone. I did not accept their advances. Then the government came and installed hive mind technology, and they probably removed body parts and took them to their facilities. I started hearing voices and seeing things. But some of these people were hostile. They were mad about things that I have said on social media. They had different political and religious beliefs, and they let me know about it. Because I had a debate, a religious debate about if God exists or not, and I'm agnostic, atheist, agnostic. They started scolding me about not believing in God. And a lot of the people in the hive were hostile. This technology makes them irritable, and they attack people. They harass people constantly. It is all they do in the hive. Their psychology is extremely negative, and they hurt people. They think they can put their hands on anybody they want to. They think they can take surrogates any place they want to because the government has been letting them. They can take CIA agents, FBI agents, politicians, and no one is ever the wiser. So there was conflict from the start, 13 years ago. Then they turned off the hive mind technology but left it in. This allowed them to still read my thoughts and to invade my privacy, to see through my eyes and to hear what I hear, but I couldn't hear them. I felt violently ill. I could feel things stuck inside of my head and my brain, my face. My whole face swelled up. I got a lazy eye. Then these people started stealing my intellectual property, my intellectual works, the science and philosophy I was studying, my notes, the literature that I was writing. They started stealing it, my ideas. And as time went on, they became attracted to my works and me writing literature. They started selling seats to my phone service. They allowed other Scientologists to invade my mind space for a fee so they could steal ideas for personal gain. Then they got to witness me creating some of my best literature. So I'm part Native American. My Native American name is Crazy Bird. I write literature. I wrote Crazy Bird comics. It's about Crazy Bird. He's a Native American superhero, a scientist that saves the planet using technology and politics and philosophy and science. I haven't done much work in there. I've written some because I've been focusing on another one of my works of literature, which is the ECA, the Environment Creation Agency, and Buffalo Dollars, which is a government agency that replaces the Federal Reserve with a science council that approves the spending of Buffalo Dollars, which is a trickle up currency. Everybody gets it. And once a transaction is approved, this currency converts into normal currency that can be spent on anything within the law. And then I wrote several other stories, Alien Bob, Bug Bob, Space Bob, which is about helping life on this planet achieve higher evolution to become a spacefaring species. So humans and other life on this planet need to evolve before we can conquer space. We need to be able to handle the extreme environments of outer space and other planets so we can survive space travel and colonizing other planets. Humans and other life forms on Earth. And I've written a little bit in those stories. Then I wrote Jewel Craft. It's about magical gem crafting for making weapons and tools. It's a kind of a dwarf and elvish story. I've written a few pages in it also. So these people think they are going to torture me to death, steal my intellectual property, use it to save the planet, and then somehow try to sell off this whole event to the Christian society, Christian community, as a Christian martyrdom that was supposed to happen. These people harass me using this telepathy. They berate me. They try to come up with some false narrative which says that I've done something wrong that somehow justifies their criminal behavior against me. They cite my drug use and they say that I've killed kids and molested kids, which is a lie. And they're premeditating my death. So they plan my death. They have removed most of my extra dimensional biology. My biology became lucrative to them because of my intelligence, my ability to create and write literature, participate in politics, to lead people, to persuade hearts and minds, to persuade votes. They see value in my body parts. So they started cutting off extra dimensional biology and using it for transplant purposes and surrogate making purposes. So these alien forms they create, they need human body parts to make them work, to make them drivable. So they started cutting off body parts and transplanting it onto their alien forms. Then the parts that they didn't need for transplants, they started creating surrogates out of. So they started making them little surrogates out of my extra dimensional biology. Then the parts that they didn't use for transplant or surrogate making purposes, they used for torture devices. So because of this entanglement property, they have taken my biology to a remote location and they are doing horrible things to it, like filling it full of parasites and torture devices and weapons, and doing things to it like setting it on fire or putting it down in acid or locking it out of entropy or pushing it out of space-time, making it fall through space-time, and then trying to put it in places where people can't get to anymore, making me suffer. I'm in pain. My skin burns. I'm dizzy, weak. I can't think straight anymore. I have brain fog. So then this has turned into a snuff film. They're using their heavenly abilities, particularly their ability to see the inner workings of a biology, to assault my biology in every location, every vital. Recently, they've been infatuated with my neural tissue and my sexual organs. They don't want me to have my own biology. In their pettiness, jealousy, and toxic masculinity, and roid rage, and irritability syndrome, and delusions, psychosis, they are attacking me in some occult-like behavior. They do seances with my biology. They take it to their little holes in space-time and torture it. I'm getting harassed. I do not consent for you to speak to me. I'm in my own home. You have no authority here. You are breaking the law. Please stop talking to me and get away from me right now. These people are batshit crazy. They are lunatics. And they are addicted to it. So they have been assaulting my brain tissue today. Everywhere they see it lighting up, they assault it, they attack it. So they have assaulted me on this side of the brain, that's my left side, on the side of the head, and in the back of the head. And they have attacked my brainstem. And they are telling me they are assaulting my animals too. I am sick.